What's the best way for you to start off a new season?
The best way for me to start off a new season is weirdly looking back because deja vu sprung in the capital as they were held at Tynecastle, and Killy and Derek McInnes with his absolutely groany face took an absolute paste, and the champions are back on top, and the season's back. Morg, roll the intro.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome along to the grand premiere of Season 4 of the Football Booth Podcast. My name is Fennan, and join alongside me a man who's in high spirits by all means, and he has every right to do so. Mayhem, how are you be doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate. I am very good. Looking forward to season 4.
Season 4. We've completed 3 seasons. And we're now looking to rack up another season under our belt. But excited for football to be back, by all means. Obviously, you were back in action this weekend. The Championship returns next weekend. So spirits are high amongst the footballing world. But let's go straight into it. Let's get straight into the nitty gritty. Now, obviously, it started off perfectly based off of a Saturday's result between Rangers and Hearts. A 0-0 draw, very unconvincing from Rangers as well in terms of their performance. But then you made it that ever so sweeter yesterday with a comfortable 4-0 win over Killy, thanks to goals from, I think it was Rio Hatate got the first, your boy Liam Scales to make it 2, and then second half goals from Nicholas Kuhn and then Anthony Ralston right at the death. Talk us through. I didn't catch the game, unfortunately. I didn't realise it was a late kickoff, and I was in the midst of bottling a fucking game of darts. So, take us through what took place on that fine day at Paradise Mayhem.
Well, I think what was actually nice for once, and it'll only be for 1 week of the season because Sky Sports a shit ass.
5:30 kickoff though.
No, but I mean, just the spotlight on Scottish football. Obviously, we started the week earlier. Nothing else was going on, and there was a plethora of games. Obviously, it all got underway with Rangers heading to the capital. Have I done someone a disservice? Let me just before I go and before I get too giddy, let me just absolutely make sure that nothing was kicking off on a Friday night. Have I done someone a disservice? No. There we go. Just to make sure. So yeah, season the curtain raiser at Tynecastle. Obviously, how the curtain come down on their season at the end of last season. They drew 3-3 there, so I'm sure they began there. Tynecastle probably the second hardest venue they'll go to this season. I think most people agree with that.
Yeah, most probably.
Hearts have made some good signings, strengthened in some key areas. We see Jan Danda and Blair Spittle come off the bench, two very, very good players for Ross County and Motherwell, respectively, last season. And obviously the likes of Alan Forrest, they've kept Vargas as well. Obviously Shankland's still there. Had Frankie Kent in my team this season, thought he was good, and they look like they've made some signings. Taylor right back at a really good game, and they bolstered where they needed to while keeping players that maybe wouldn't have had a massive interest, but I'm no doubt that some of the boys that were in there would have maybe had League One offers, Championship offers, stuff like that, and may have been tempted to go down south, but they've kept together the nucleus of that team. Obviously, European football being a big draw, so I think a lot of teams will go there and really know they've been in a football match, and that's certainly what happened with Rangers. I mean, they didn't look great.
They really didn't. It was a very underwhelming performance.
I think Hearts are really good in the first half, more so in the first half than they were in the second. And on another day, you maybe if Shankland had got into a few of those positions where things had fallen, a snapshot kind of falls to Blair Spittle, and Shankland kind of goes close with one chance, and Butler manages it, squirms under him, and he keeps it. And at the other end, they defended well, resolutely, got a wee bit of luck as well. Dessers from point blank range does what he does and misses, which is good for everyone else, bar Rangers and Scottish football, I guess. So on another day, they could have pinched it 1-0, but I think Hearts will equally feel that it could have happened. That we did see VAR being far more relaxed on the handball rule, because that new fella Barron in the midfield, Connor Barron, I think, or whatever his name is. I mean, last year that's 100% a penalty, and that was a consistent theme. VAR being more relaxed, and the refs really kind of new season, new start. They were getting a lot of plaudits, a lot of pundits were talking very well about them. Then 4:30 come. We'll get to that. We're coming. Don't worry, Don Robinson. We're coming. But we see that relax. He's dived to block the ball. His arm is what would have in past seasons would have been. He's making himself bigger. It's away from his silhouette. Blah blah blah. Doesn't get given. It'd be interesting to see. If that was reversed, what VAR does. But we'll see. Are they going to be consistent this season? And a few flashbacks that really, it was a disappointing performance. I would expect from most Rangers fans, they would have been disappointed with that. But what they did do was leave the door ajar for us to go and seize a very, very early initiative, and already create a little bit of daylight, even this early on in the season, which is always nice. But before that, we saw the return of the Dundee derby, which I thought was a fantastic game. Dundee United were twice ahead in that game, really showing that some of the signings that they've made, going to take them on a level, and they're going to come up and compete. I think that Dundee finished in the top 6 last season, so by no means was it an easy start for Dundee United, but ahead twice. Dundee kind of grew back into the game in the second half. Dundee United sat off a wee bit and allowed them to, and in the end, Curtis Main misses an absolute golden chance to win it for Dundee, and then down the other end, forgive me, I don't know the United player's name, but he has a great chance as well right at the end where a ball comes in. The ball just kind of lets the ball hit him instead of maybe trying to flick it towards the goal. Where I think they had Lewis Moult up top, which is a blast from the past, ex-Motherwell player.
Surely not.
If not, it's his absolute doppelganger. But yeah, some good games. It
was Lewis Moult. It was Lewis Moult.
The competition that Hearts showed Rangers, I think, was a great advert for the game. That competition between one of the Glasgow sides, and the actual overall spectacle in the Dundee derby, I thought was really good. And then it was flag time. It was flag day, and no doubt people were going there a bit disgruntled. Okay, we haven't signed nearly enough. As of Saturday, Chelsea have apparently entered the race to potentially sign Matt O'Reilly.
Yep. Reported interest.
We've only one striker. We're a Kyogo injury away from Mikey Johnson being our fucking striker. And Kyogo is a player that gets injured. We're not talking about Callum McGregor or someone. Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about Callum McGregor or someone that played. Like, Kyogo gets injured. He's got shoulders made of fucking chocolate teapots. All right? It happens. And we're with one striker. Liam Scale starting at the back. It was definitely some rumblings. Great to see Casper in nets. Look, he'll have harder days, but good for him to make his debut clean sheet. And I think overall, it was a decent performance. This was kind of what we expected Brendan Rodgers' side to be when he come in. He's been here a year now. He's had a pre-season, and he's delivering a team that was just far more look complete. Dynamic, runs off the ball, really composed in possession, keeping it well, really stretching the a team that was all right. They were patched up because they had injuries and suspensions, but a team that wanted to be compact and sit back and certainly caused us problems last season. So maybe they've got bigger things in their mind. The European tie coming up this week as well, where maybe their attention was a little bit more on. But we had to go and get the job done. And I think we did really, really well. Pressing was really good, and that's obviously where the Hatate goal comes from. Matt O'Reilly getting on to him. Greg Taylor pinches the ball back, lays it back into Rio, smashes it in after 16 minutes. After a minute before, Kyogo took the ball brilliantly on the turn and nearly dinked it over the keeper. So we were a constant threat. And that was pretty much the first half. Casper, one or two little things, but nothing for him to really break a sweat about. Most of it was down his throat. He was composed, he was collected. And then we get a corner and we score from a corner. Holy shit. And it's that man, Liam Scales, that guy that you just want to, like, he's so annoying. So annoying. Because I think Liam Scales is playing at the absolute top of his ability.
Yeah.
Right? So no one should be saying anything bad about the guy because he's playing literally his max. But the truth is that his max just should not be a start officer. Like, come in, like the Kilmarnock game is fine, but you see the way that he slows the game down. You see the way that he dallies on the ball, and you can see the way the team's clearly set up to press Cameron Carter because to play the ball into Scales so that he has to be the one to distribute. He does dally on the ball. He can struggle against the bigger strikers, and Vassell did have a little bit of success against them in the air. Not much, but he did have a wee bit, certainly more than he did on the other side. Not to say that he wasn't giving Carter Vickers a handful, because at one point he did kind of outmuscle him and rig around and get a crossing that led to one of Kilmarnock's only shot on targets. But it takes him a second longer to do it than that next caliber of player.
Yeah, he's one of those players when you're watching the game, you're just thinking he's got to make that pass or that ball across field like 2-3 seconds prior to when he actually does it.
It just takes an extra touch nearly every time that he doesn't need to take. But you can't voice because the guy pops up and scores. We keep a clean sheet, so it sounds like you're piling in on him, and I get we are, and the frustration is probably more rightly directed towards, the people that are clinging hold of the fucking money like they can take it to the afterlife with them, rather than him. But you can just tell that it's so obvious that is a position that we need to upgrade. The midfield is fantastic. That's as good a midfield performance. With the off-the-ball running, Rio, making those late runs, Matt O'Reilly, Callum, really, really good. Nicholas Kuma's all right. Obviously, he gets his goal, big deflection that helps him with that, but he was okay. James Forrest was on the left again. He done all right. Hopefully, Maeda will be back. Brendan said he should be back on the pitch this week, so he'll be training, so we're just going to have to play that one game to game, but James come in and did well. And Kyogo looked sharp as well. So I think at the start of the last season, there was a little bit of worry about him. He was kind of plundering about the place. He looked super sharp. And overall, yes, 7 out of 10. Good performance. Nice to get a couple of goals. I predicted 4-1 before the game. So just fell short. Just fell short.
Didn't think Casper was going to get that clean sheet.
Normally what happens in those kind of games is, we'll be super comfortable and, there'll be a stupid error or a set piece or something like that. But we managed the game really, really well, kept the ball really well. Alistair Johnson obviously started. That guy must have had about a 20-minute rest from all these games he played during the Copa America flying back.
Of course.
Good to see him getting good minutes under. Played okay as well. Anthony Ralston come on. Just another guy.
He's another guy who just, again, I understand where you're coming from, because you do feel those areas you could have so much more of a
I just
player
can't
in that
believe.
position.
I can't believe that we don't have a kid in the academy that plays right back that's as good as Ralston. I can't accept that, because if we don't, then our academy is failing horrifically. If we don't have that, but again, he's one of these guys that, and then he pops up with the fourth goal, and you go, well, it's going to be real difficult to say, the fuck are you doing on the pitch? And you've scored the fourth. But yeah, after the World Cup, after seeing him in the World Cup, I just
I think you washed your hands on him. That's for sure.
and because it's different playing for Celtic, we're going to dominate the ball. He isn't going to have to do as much defending. But it petrifies me that if AJ was to get injured, and we're in a position maybe going into a Champions League game, and Tony Ralston is a petrifying thought. But we're never signing the right back, because there's the serious areas that we need to strengthen that, like we've said multiple times, we haven't done. Centre back and striker an absolute must. Whether it's Adamida, whether it's whoever at centre back. But those, at least one more striker, at least one more centre back. I did see that the Norwich fans were booing Adamida's every touch in the pre-season friendly.
Really?
Because he missed the game, didn't he? One of their pre-season matches, he missed the game. But the boy doesn't want to be there. And it's now up to Celtic to go and give Norwich, a better offer than 4.5 million. And is he worth 10? No. But it's somewhere in the middle there. I mean, go and offer the 6 million or whatever, and see if we can get him up the road. But clearly, he wants to do it. I put it to you a week ago or the other week ago. Maybe the ball's in his court, and maybe we need to see a little. We've seen that now. He didn't turn up for a game. He's showing. He's clearly sending a message. And again, we're pissing about. If Edam, that's not a player. If he does our guy, just go get him. Stop fucking about with it. Just go get him.
He's made it clear that he wants to leave. He refuses to be third choice behind the likes of Josh Sargent and Ashley Barnes. Is it they've got? Yeah, like he knows that he can go and play first team football on a more consistent basis than he is at Norwich, and Celtic offer that for him. Clearly, I mean, Kyogo isn't going to. He's not going to be 100% throughout the entire season. He's going to have his knocks along the way. He's going to have his days where having him come off the bench is more ideal for him in terms of his match fitness.
There'll just be places where Edam. Why do I keep saying that? There'll just be places where it must be. There'll just be places where Edam will suit us more. Right? We see it when we won 5-0 at Rugby Park, when we had struggled there before. Playing Adamida up top just suited us more. Places like Pataudry, maybe Tynecastle, these kind of places that will not to Kirk has scored a boat ton of goals at those places, but I think different, just giving us that extra option. Either takes the ball in, he holds it really well, and he scored some huge goals for us last season. Go and buy the guy, right?
Absolutely.
Just go and get it done.
It's a healthy rotation option right there.
Right, you've let O go for whatever we got for him, 3.5 million or whatever, right? So that means that if you were going to bid 4.5 million, right, you can still bid 4.5 million, but add on the 3.5 million that you've sold your second striker for, right? Guess what? You get to the valuation that you were going to fucking get to anyway, because that's roundabout what Norwich want. Yeah. And you've only spent what you were literally putting out before because you've sold O. O should have accommodated a far bigger bid, right? 4.5, we sold him for 3.5. Okay, right, we can bid 8 million. There we go. If that's how you want, that should be, as soon as O went out, right, let's go bid 8 million, because they're not going to reject 8 million for Adamida. He wants to go, they're saying 10, but if you come in with 8, it'd be away. People may say you're overspending. Okay, look, maybe on paper, but remembering that we've brought in that money for O, and really we're going back again with what the base bid was. Just go get it fucking done, and then we can focus in and concentrate on the centre back. Obviously, Paulo Bernardo's back. He was on the bench for the game.
3.5 million as well. The fee was, so it turns out you did get him cheaper than anticipated.
Mm-hmm. He's back, and again, we think he might be slightly behind where Brendan wants him, and that's why he didn't come off the bench, because we see the return of Home, which was a bit of a shock. He was pretty anonymous in the game, to be honest. Thiago Odin Home, great name, shit player. So Lewis Palmer come off the bench and was pretty anonymous as well. Couple of step overs, but again, not really doing much in the way of actually affecting the game. We are overall happy. Obviously, 4 goals, 3 points, and we move on pretty swiftly to the next game. A couple of away games coming up, so we quickly turn our attention to them. But yeah, good to be back. Good to have
Absolutely.
All the pre-season pish in the bin, back to business.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Flag Day is always special, whether you're there or whether you're watching at home. I was there for Brendan's first home game in his first stint when we played Aberdeen, and special day. And it looked fantastic yesterday with the full stadium tifo and Jim Craig raising the flag, and Danny McGrain was there as well. So there's some real icons and legends of the football club, and it brings everyone out, a packed house and a performance onto the show. So, 7, 8 out of 10. Good
7,
job.
8 out of 10.
Moving
Yeah,
on.
no, it was
Happy moving on.
very, very, very strong start indeed. Especially with Rangers coming out on the opening day and not coming away with 3 points. I think Phil Clement will be under some form of pressure already, and of course he'd only recently signed a new contract last week, and so I think there'll be some hairs up on the back of his neck already, knowing that Celtic have a 2-point lead over them, and so
I think, as much as the guy is, as they all are that go in there, they all drink the Kool-Aid and absolute soup drinkers at that place, and they believe the world's against them, and that siege mentality that they think they have to create and that. But Angie's been massively lied to about resources and how they were going to retain players. Obviously, Connor Goldson's gone. I did see a lovely picture of Connor Goldson, wherever the fuck he's gone, Turkey or somewhere,
Turkey or Cyprus he went to, wasn't it?
Wherever, refusing to do the huddle. So they're all huddling in, and he's standing there with his hands behind his back while he's wearing green and white. Like, come on, dipshit. You've signed for a team in green and white, but you're not going to do the huddle. You fucking come on. You couldn't write this shit, mate.
Oh my god, I didn't even take that into consideration, that was the colour kit that you'd be wearing now.
What a thick twat, like, fucking hell. He said, "No, I'm not doing that huddle at Celtics." And you've got like these teammates going, hey, "What colours are you wearing?" Oh fuck!
You have to make a few phone calls.
Oh, fucking dickhead.
His agent's got him dirty there. But I mean, I don't want to revisit too much back to the final episode of season 3, but obviously a main talking point was the huge concern of Celtic's lack of spending and investment into the squad. Now, I mean, Brendan Rodgers came out post-game against Killy and said that adding quality is a must. It has to happen if we are to be able to maintain the level that we're at the moment domestically, but also to compete in Europe as well. And, I mean, I beg the question again. Like, he's clearly got targets. Like, I know obviously the Paulo Bernardo deals come in, he's back in through the door, but again, it's not really adding someone as it was really someone that you had on your books last season. But like seeing the names that have come up, I've seen Shay Charles from Southampton being linked, a midfielder from Venezia, Tanner Tessman, Daniel Gazdag from Philadelphia Union. Like, clearly, Rodgers has got targets. And I don't know what it is about this club that will not allow him to proceed in pursuing them.
It sounds to any Celtic fan, and they'll be split and if they're on the side of the board and that, they'll roll their eyes if when they hear this. But it's Peter Laurel, mate. It absolutely 100% is. I'm convinced by it because when he wasn't there, wasn't apparently had stepped down, and he wasn't there. Postecoglou was getting deals done nice and early. People were coming in. He was signing Kyogo, Hatate, Alistair Johnson. Juranovic was going out the door. Alistair Johnson was signed. Bang, he's in. So when Juranovic leaves, we don't need to go searching. This guy is here. So Peter Laurel is notorious for being a penny pinching tight cunt, and it just seems to be the same things happening over and over and over again. Like if you're not going to go and pay $8 million for Adamida, then who's next? Move on. We've been linked with Majowski from Aberdeen. He'll do a job domestically. If that's our level, if you're just saying what we're going to do is go out and win the league every year, come out and tell us that first of all. Right, come out and tell us. Right, we don't have enough money to compete, so we're going to be absolutely thudded in the Champions League. Just be honest, right? So we can wrap our heads around that we're going to be absolute cannon fodder for all these big teams, right? Go and sign the likes of Majowski, right? So you are closing the door domestically, right? So if Kyogo's injured, in goes Majowski, that was banging 15 goals for Aberdeen. He'll do a job. He'll score goals. We've all seen that. Lauren Shankland is probably never going to come to us, so go and sign Majowski. Give Aberdeen the $5 million. And if you're complaining about, $5 million for Majowski, we're doing the same shit with Matt O'Reilly right now. We're holding on. That's the valuation that we have set on our player. We're holding on. You can't complain about other teams doing that if that's their valuation of that player. So just go fucking buy him. Stop dicking around with all this, right? Just get it done, right? You've literally, from season ticket sales alone, I've said this before, from season ticket sales alone, you've banked 30 million.
Yeah.
Right? That should be Brendan Rodgers' base transfer budget every year. That isn't the club having to set that. That is the fans going out, spending their hard-earned money, right, that they earn week in, week out, putting it back into that football club, right? 30 million should be the absolute base that he gets every single season. Every year we sell out season tickets, the manager gets 30 million.
Yeah.
That should be it. Go and sign who you want. Whether you decide that, all right, what I want is 3 players, right, for 10 million each, and these are the 3 guys I'm going to try. Fine. That should be the manager or the recruitment team or whatever. That should be their prerogative. Our limit, if we're going to go and sign, is about 3 million. You decide you need 2 players. Okay, well our limit's 15 million. That's your budget. Go fucking spend it. That's the fans that have created that. Peter Laurel should have no fucking control over it, and we're penny pinching over. Norwich may want 4 more million. Yeah, I said I don't want to get too on a downer because we've won and
I know.
back,
Of course.
But that fucking rat cunt up in that seat, his padded seat, hiding away up there. Get the fuck out of the club. No one wants you. No one fucking wants you. Right? You're talking about, we need to be sustainable. Winning the league and getting in the Champions League every year, we are sustainable. Look at how much money we have in the bank right now. Right? And we can be absolutely sustainable by going and buying good footballers, because that means we'll win the league every year. That means we'll get them straight into the Champions League or the latter stages of the qualifiers. Right? Just go and spend the fucking money.
It's part of running a football club, Peter. But no, I don't get it. There's part of me that really does feel that there's still a sense of heads butting between Brendan and the board.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't happen, Ange. Like you said,
there's certainly I would say a lot of Celtic fans that are really conflicted about Brendan Rodgers still. We struggle to forget what he done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's hard to recognise, the season that he just gave us, and the noise that he's making now. We need to add, and we're not adding. So clearly, the manager wants to add, and we're not adding. So, I mean, if we don't go out and sign the quality that he wants, that he's clearly been promised when he's come back to this, could anyone blame him for walking away? Could anyone blame him for saying, "Look, I was completely lied to"?
Heads are turning now.
Like. I was lied to. I was told this. I was told this. I was told this. They didn't do this, and he walks away. Could anyone blame him? I don't think so.
This is it. And if this turns out to be what the problem was in the first place, and where there were Celtic fans who were turning around going, "Snake, rat, cunt, all this," I
Well, he
think
was a rat for the way he
the
left.
way he did it, of
That's-
course, yeah. The manner that he went about it wasn't great at all. But I think there'll be a small part of the Celtic faithful
Clearly
thinking
now,
like, oh, maybe he actually had a bit of a point.
yeah. Clearly now there was mitigating factors. But if you're going to sneak out on the eve of a treble or whatever, treble, I think
Oh
at
yeah, I
that
think
point,
yeah,
yes,
triple
on
treble,
the eve of
quadruple
on the eve
treble.
of treble, on the eve of a treble, drive yourself down to Leicester to pick up that's rat behaviour mentality,
It is,
sneaky little bastard.
yeah.
He's come back. He's obviously wanted to right some wrongs, but there's no doubt that he'd have been promised things and they're not being fulfilled, right? Paolo Bernardo, no disrespect to the kid, right? Is not what he was promised, right? Adam Eder for a 6-month loan and then I'll shit in the bed not going to buy him. It's not what he was promised.
Yeah.
I don't even imagine that Adam Eder was the guy that he was promised, let's be honest, right? Because that's a championship player that we're loaning. Right? That was the calibre of player that he was promised that we were going to go out and spend on in all reality. But he's come up, he's done a job, he's scored big goals. There's an affinity now with him where we're like, all right, this is that guy, he's having a tough time down there. We like bring him up, we'll build him up. We're happy to do that. He wants to be here. And I want to back at the club, but I very much doubt that when he come in, we were going, you can have top-end championship players because they're not going to do fuck all in the Champions League.
Yeah. It felt initially
I
at
mean,
the time. It felt like that initially at the time when you're thinking, Adam Eder, really is that the caliber of player we're attracting nowadays? And then by all means, he went on and had a fantastic 6 months at the club.
fucking Preston North End, if they went up against Bayern Munich, that's not going to fucking work, is it? So very much that he was promised top-end championship players, but that's what we're having to deal with. And we're still not spending the money. Like, wake up, we're in 2024, right? There is no Hendrik Larsson's kicking about for 500k, right? We're not signing Chris Sutton for 6 million. We're not floating around that anymore, right? The valuations have gone through the roof. Right? And we need to move with it. And like I said, right, every year that we sell out, that season ticket money, it's £30 million. Right?
Yeah.
At the absolute bare minimum, they should be going, right, there you go. This is what we're from season tickets, bosh. What do the fans want? Players. Go on, there's your budget. Go and work with that. If you need any more, we'll have a discussion. If you've any left over, blah, 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 bang, there you go. Simple.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's a real simplistic view. I'm sure there's more that goes into running a football club, but look, I'm going to be simple. So I should go to him. Fuck you, Peter. And we're going to leave his little scrotum scrawny little fucking ugly little face there. We're just going to shoot down south, punch a right. We're going to land in South Wales. What's the crack?
What's the crack? You know what? You took away my little transition moment there. I was going to say, like, what is the...
Transitioning?
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, I was going to ask you in terms of what are the reports surrounding Scott McKenna with Celtic at the moment? Have they died off? Has it gone quiet?
I haven't heard a lot, to be honest. I knew he was a name that was being mentioned, but I think he was always going to be because he's Scottish and he's available on a free. And we love those freebies.
Well, guess who he's linked to now?
Accrington and Stanley.
Who are they? Mate, we are cooking in this free transfer market. I mean, I guess the best way we can start off is from last week, and that was the shrewd piece of business that Errol Bullock managed to pull off in bringing in Anwar El Ghazi on a free signing after he left Mainz through. Again, there was a lot of controversy in terms of his anti-Semitic tweets regarding his support for Palestine during his time at the club last season, and again, through court cases, he came out and won the case, and Mainz, fortunately for El Ghazi, Mainz had to pay out €1 million in unpaid wages. So he then, again, had to have talks with the club to terminate his contract, which was successful, and 24 hours after that, on the midnight of the first day of August, he was announced as a Cardiff City player. Got a fantastic CV, El Ghazi. I think I've seen him during his time at Aston Villa. He scored the winning goal in the playoff against Derby County that year. And again, very experienced across Europe, playing for Lille, PSV, played in the Premier League with Villa as well. And so he does come with heaps of experience. Again, what we need. But will definitely take time for him to get back to full fitness, as he hasn't played football for a year. But by all means, quite like I said, a very fantastic piece of business to bring him in and to add some sufficient experience to the squad. And then, like I said, I think it was only yesterday or Saturday where it emerged that we were linked with Scott McKenna. Again, I'm a little bit indifferent about it because, of course, we've already got Callum Chambers, Gutas and Guinness on the books. I don't know if we're exploring the option of signing McKenna because he's a free agent, or is it really that we're prepared to lose Mark McGuinness this summer? Again, everything's gone quiet on that side of things with McGuinness, so it's basically just sort of wait and see. The Alex Robertson deal still sounds very promising at the moment. Nothing has been concrete as of yet. It's come out that he favours a move to Cardiff over Portsmouth and Hull, which is quite surprising. I really thought he would have lent towards Hull after the campaign they had last season, but maybe it was just a competition for places at Hull. I'm not too sure. But again, and I also have to apologise for last week when we did the little the game of naming who I'd start against Sunderland and which areas I should, that I would like to improve. I am so sorry, but I left Manny Siopis' name out. I completely forgot about Siopis. So I'm going to have to make a change to that team. And I would go, to be honest, I'm going to drop Rambo, just purely because of the age he's at the moment, and he's someone who hasn't got the legs as he once did, not a spring chicken anymore. Ideally, yes, I would like Siopis in the midfield too with Robertson. That's an area that I would like to improve on now. Colwell was number 10. Probably Robbo as number 9. Because just like myself, he's been spoken very highly of amongst the Cardiff fans. And we are really backing him to have a very strong campaign with us. Again, like this pre-season, he's been phenomenal. I think everyone's been great in this pre-season. We rounded it off with a 2-0 win against Bristol Rovers, who apparently hate us as well, even though I don't even know what fucking league they're in. But it turns out they hate us as well. So, but no, we beat them 2-0 thanks to 2 absolute scorching goals from Rambo and Rulesy. Again, it was like a competition of who could score the better goal, and I must say it was a tight one to call between the both of them. But no, it sets us up perfectly going into the weekend opener against Sunderland. Spirits are high. Like I said, I mean, Errol Bullitt has really set some strong foundations. He's built on them with the players he's brought in, and I do feel there'll be more to come in terms of incomings. Again, I'm a little bit on edge because we play the Jacks 3 games into the championship season, so it's coming around very quickly. So we're really going to have to be ready at the go. We're going to have to produce some positive performances and really build that momentum going into that fixture at the world's biggest caravan in, I think it's like 3 weeks' time from now. So yeah, it's actually quite a difficult opening for us. Sunderland, who they've been okay, like they've been a steady performing championship side over the last 2-3 seasons, and so by all means they'll be difficult. Then we go to Turf Moor after that against Burnley. Of course, they're always going to get a mention in an episode by all means, but again, a team that's recently come down and that completely took the championship by storm under Vincent Kompany. I don't know whether they'll be the same side as we were familiar with 2 seasons ago, but by all means, yeah, it will be a very, really, really tough opener for us. But then it's the big one, then on to the Jacks. And again, I don't like the fact that we have to play them so early in the season. And so, yeah, no, we'll have to. Again, we have to be at our peak in terms of performances. and hoping that these new signings can really bring some excitement back to the club. Make the Cardiff City Stadium a fortress again now, because it feels like it hasn't been that since our last promotion campaign, and that's probably based on our fan base in general, where we're a club that is, lingering in the Championship, and modern fans this day and age love, especially young fans, they love having a Premier League club. It's the league that attracts all footballing fans across the world, and it feels like Cardiff are always put on the back burner until we are doing well and we make a promotion push. So I'm hoping they do turn up in numbers though this season. I feel, like I said, I think Bullock's done a sensational job bringing the names that he has managed to bring in, and hoping for the good times to return, and for a positive campaign. I'm excited. I'm really excited to have football back. Like you said, it felt like the Euros was just so there. Like, didn't really care. Like, especially after Scotland crashing out in the groups, like it didn't interest me one bit. And so, like, to have club football back more than anything,
it's always such a buzz.
Yeah, no, exactly.
First week of the season, like it's great. Grounds are packed. That optimism is refreshed. I love the opening week of any campaign, whether it's Championship, League One, Scotland, the Premier League. There's always some real good stories written in there, and obviously, like you said, it starts on, I think, Friday night. I think there's 2 Friday night games.
I think there is
Preston
2 Friday night games.
Sheffield and Blackburn Derby's return, I think. So some real good football that'll kick off, and I think it's good for it to be staggered. Like I said, it was really nice for Scotland to have the spotlight, because, like I said, Sky Sports are absolute shit asses.
Yeah.
The EFL will have the spotlight this week, and then obviously, the English Premier League will return the week after, and that'll steal the thunder for the next 38 match weeks. But
yeah, it definitely will. But it's nice that they've actually given some telly time for these leagues. Like you said, there was a few fixtures from the Cinch Premiership on the box. Then looking at this Friday again, you're spoilt for choice. You got Blackburn Derby, Preston Sheffield United, Barnsley Mansfield in League One, Chesterfield Luton in League Two. So again, they're all kicking off at 9 o'clock. But like I said, you're just spoilt for choice. You just want to.
What one in League Two?
Which one in League Two? Chesterfield Swindon. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Luton.
All right, I thought I said Sweden at one point, because I said.
I thought you said Luton. I was like, Jesus,
Swindon,
they've got it real tough after their relegation. They've gone down 4 leagues.
Jesus Christ, they've done a Bordeaux, haven't they?
I did see, this is just some absolute sort of nonsensical news, but I did see that Luton decided not to relaunch a new home kit this year and stick with their old one.
Too. Yeah.
So that fans weren't having to pay out. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know if this might be a hot take, but 2-year home kits, so you're not down 70 quid every single. I don't mind it.
To be honest, it used to be a thing. Like back in the mid 2000s, I think a lot of clubs did 2-year kits. I think they changed the away kit, but I remember Premier League clubs doing it for sure. Like
how many like Celtic, right? I would buy any Celtic top. Not at the moment. Shouldn't spend any fucking money, bastards. But they just have to put it up and say new home kit. And I'm like, ooh, right. But
it's like a Drake meme, isn't it?
Nothing changes. I mean, it's our home kit is iconic, but it's going to stay pretty similar. We've had a few variations, where they've added that one last year, where it was like taken off of the glass and the window. We had the one the kit that Jota was playing in that had like the sort of like triangle. So there's been a few sort of minor tweaks and that, but in all honesty, 2-year home kits, I'm all for it. And then, like you said, change up the away kit. And I'm really conflicted because I like the away kit this year. It's a yellow one. We haven't had a yellow one for a while. I like it. I like a yellow kit. But all the time, don't spend.
Friend, don't fucking give them any more money.
But,
at least I miss having a yellow away kit, but unfortunately we have a fucking suspicious owner who feels that yellow is a colour of bad luck. Don't know what that means, but yeah, that's why we haven't had a yellow kit for probably the last 15 years now. Probably since, honestly, the only player that comes to mind is Michael Chopra wearing the yellow one when we didn't have a sponsor for the first couple of months. But it just worked. It was one of those kits that worked without a sponsor. It was just blue, nice little blue patches on the sides, and without any sponsor, it was crisp. But no, we haven't got yellow kits coming anytime soon. But no, I'm for that. 2-year deal for the home kit, 100%. And like you said, I mean, even though when you first see it, when you do it on a yearly basis and you see the new home kit, you're like, oh, it's fresh though. It's just the feeling of it being fresh.
And see, there's always this thing with Celtic kit. So I kind of look at it and I go, and then by the end of the season, I'm like, yeah, I need that. I need to wear that. That's cracking. But I think you almost associate kits with how well you're doing them. So last year's kit is a double winning kit. It's a cracker. Love it. I said the one with the triangles in it.
Do you get the badges on? Do you get the badges on them as well? Especially if it's been a huge campaign for you.
No, I don't get the badges.
I always get Premier League badges at every opportunity.
I think I'm going to go off getting sponsors as well, because that triangle one that I've got, the sponsor is peeling off of it as well, and it makes me sad because that's a treble kit as well.
Just lived a good life though.
We've had a few triples.
One of many.
But yeah, I see. Like I said, absolute nonsense with nothing to do. But I liked it. Tip of my hat to the Hatters.
Very well worded. I like that.
It'll be interesting to see how they get on as well. Back in the Championship.
Yeah, because I haven't seen. I don't think there's been a lot of transfer activity going on at Luton at the moment. I mean, I know they didn't really have a lot to spend when they got promoted.
They obviously lost Ross Barkley.
Yeah, that was
massive for them.
Yeah.
But I think that what they did is when they went up, they kind of went, look, we're going to give this our best go. We're going to invest in Kenilworth Road because we have to. So we're going to bring this up to where it needs to be in order to be a Premier League stadium. And what we're going to do is we're going to buy top end Championship players that if we go down, we're going to be like the likes of Chong and others. Struggling to remember at this side.
They bought a few. There was Chong. There was Brian Giles. I think that Nick Campbell was already there. But I know what you mean.
So yeah, they kind of said
that as well. That was another one.
Yeah, set their stall out to say these guys might struggle up here, but they should do really well. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. And I haven't heard anything, so I'm guessing they still have Adebayo and Colton Morris, who are obviously formidable.
Absolutely. Those two together were lethal in the Championship, and especially with Rob Edwards still at the helm as well. I think again they'll familiarise themselves very quickly again, and they'll be up there.
He's got such a connection with Luton, one because he was the man that ultimately took him back up, but you think about what he's been through as a manager of that football club. Take away the football, the two Tom Lockyer incidents is where he's collapsed on the pitch, and he looks like a guy. He looks like a real man manager. He looks like a guy that really wears his heart on his sleeve. So they were super impactful. And where he's got sort of a small squad, you can tell they're tight knit. You can tell they're close. You can tell there's a real togetherness in that changing room. So yeah, really interesting to see how they kick off. Really interesting to try and dig out some ITV highlights of the Championship. And
are they still a thing?
I think it's on ITV now. It's been everywhere, isn't it? Channel 5, Channel 4 probably had a season on Dave or something with fucking Danny Dyer hosting it.
Dave.
Here we
Bravo.
go. Today's top 5 games. Keeping that down, eh?
Oh, and I must say, I'm fucking shaking.
Maybe he can come off Gogglebox and do it with his daughter. Have you seen like him and his daughter do like celebrity Gogglebox?
Yeah, they're brilliant. Them two. Yeah, they were quality on Gogglebox.
Danny Dyer and Danny Dyer.
I see him recently come out because they were talking about when how his daughter met Jared Bowen, and he was basically her next door neighbour, and he was telling the time when like Jared Bowen like slid into her DMs, and she was like, "Dad, Jared Bowen's just messaged me." He went, "Well, fucking reply then." Fucking encouraging it, and they're like, "Who do you think loves Jared Bowen more out of you and your daughter?" He goes, it's far few in between, isn't it? I think that's just such a great dynamic, though, isn't it? It's brilliant, being one of your football club's heroes and dating your daughter. It's just he was already in his good books before he even started.
This just took a niche turn.
It did, yeah. I don't know why we're moving on to
all of a sudden we've become 51st dates. We're like Fred at the door.
Oh, you crazy bitch!
But yeah, swinging it back round, Championship season starting, League One as well. It's such a buzz, mate. And like I said, I don't take too much interest in English football. Really, the only results that I look out for is Cardiff. If Cardiff's on TV, I'll make an asserted effort to watch it. So in 3 weeks' time, I'll be buckling down because we know what Sky Sports, again, shit asses. The only time the Cardiff get on fucking TV is when it's the South Wales derby, or they're away to a big team.
Or the Tin Pot derby that tends to get on Sky Sports every now and then as well. They'll put us on a fucking Friday night or something ridiculous. Friday night or Saturday afternoon they put us with derby.
Yeah, and like I said, and then the following week, everything's that buzz comes around again, and everyone's going to be looking at Ipswich and what can they do? Ipswich are the new Luton. I mean, they're on that journey to see if they can defy the odds and stay up and wait 10 months for their stadium to be added to FIFA. So,
God, yeah. That's all we care about as supporters, is just having our football stadium added to FIFA.
It's part of your childhood, though, isn't it? I mean, you grow up
100%.
playing this game. It's you hear players talking about it as well, like having them actually scanned into the game is massive. Not that I'll be going out and purchasing.
No, same. No, I've officially retired. Like I'll come out, play a couple of clubs games if it does become a realistic possibility for me. But other than that, my hands are completely wiped of that game.
It'll come to the Game Pass at some point, I'm sure.
I'm like, what's it? I can't remember his name from Kung Fu Panda. The old guy. He's like, my time has come. You know what I mean? But I guess we could talk a little bit about Premier League. I know we're still 2 weeks out, but there have been some interesting developments. And I must say, I've got to bring this up because it is the most Man United thing I'll ever hear throughout this summer. Manchester United defender Lenny Yoro, who signed for £60 million at the age of 18, has now been ruled out for 3 months after foot surgery.
Yeah,
it's just something. Honestly, like it is the most Man United thing ever to happen. Because it feels like that mentality just like encourages these misfortunes.
Surely they must have known that this guy needed an op.
This is the thing. Like I don't know if it was from the pre-season game where it occurred, or if there was prior issues with it before signing. I'm not too sure, but yeah, no, that's him leaving with a leg brace, and when they got a leg brace on, it's never good. Or was it a boot, isn't it?
No. Well, maybe it has come off the back of an impact in a game, but yeah, they can't seem to catch a break.
No, they really can't, and so I don't know how they're going to go about filling that void, probably Johnny Evans, knowing Ten Hag. So
Harry Maguire's still there, you know.
Harry Maguire's still there.
Big slabhead.
Big slabhead, love him. But he's been out in Greece nutting people all summer, hasn't he? Had to make most of his time by not getting called up to Germany.
He's about to come back from his pre-season with another GBH charge hanging over him.
He's going to come back with a black eye and a new surname. Why is Harry Maguire now Harry De La Cruz? Because his mum's a dirty.
This could be a twist on it, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, recently, I've just seen here that Newcastle are expected to increase their offer in their pursuit with Mark Gahey. They had I think it was a 40 million bid rejected, and Palace are holding out for 60. Now, of course, standout performer for England in the Euros, definitely one of those shining spots in that lineup. I mean, would it be a good move for Gahey going to Newcastle?
Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. I'd heard previously that Liverpool were interested.
I saw that. Yeah,
I think that's a better move. Newcastle is more of the the longer project, and yeah, I think he would probably go in there next to Botman, shore up that area. I still think they need a left back. I don't know if they've signed one.
Got Super Dan Burn, don't need one.
So,
yeah, they need one. Yeah.
Still think that's a problem area. There was talks of Trippier leaving in January. I don't know how quiet that's gone. And I think they still Newcastle to really go up again, really go up to the next level. I think left back, right wing is a problem. They've got Andy Gordon on the left, Alec Isak that plays up top. Right wing's a bit of a problem. Left back, bit of a problem. Centre midfield, they can kind of manoeuvre around and they're okay. I think centre back, Fabian Schär's getting on a bit, but I think he's all right. He does a job. So for me, I think your big problem there is your left back and right wing. But Mark Gahey obviously showed how good he was at the European Championships, and 60 million this day and age. I mean, it is a lot of money, but it isn't at the same time.
Yeah. No, it really isn't, and obviously you got to take into consideration, the nationality of being English always ups the price by definitely by 10-20 million on its own, and again, still fairly young, and so has plenty of time to flourish and get to his peak. I think with Newcastle's project, and by all means, yes, there is going to be question marks over how the club is going to move forward. Obviously, with part of the ownership taking a step back. I don't know. I mean, again, it's just still there will be some question marks surrounding the future of the club, the future of Eddie Howe. But I don't think I may be overthinking it a bit too much. But I think the project is still there, and like you said, it'll be a step in the right direction for Mark Gahey if he wants to, be able to compete in Europe, for example, and push on.
I think they had that wonder season when Eddie Howe first come in, and they were probably ahead of their projections. I think where they finished last season is sort of more realistic until they go and add. Because you look at, to be honest, let's say this season, Villa had an incredible season last year, but probably Newcastle and Villa, are just outside of that top six that now exists.
Yeah.
And that's factoring in, and maybe say that quietly because Chelsea, you don't know what you're going to get with them. But if we'll say top five, right, and then they're kind of there battling around there, they're that kind of level. So, and if you're comparing squads, I mean, Aston Villa's squad is starting 11 and depth, I think is just far, far better than what Newcastle has at the moment. So that's where I think they still need a few to come in. You look at the likes of Villa and the attacking options, and the fact that they're pulling the likes of Leon Bailey off the bench, and I don't think Newcastle have that.
No, not yet. I mean, like you said, if we're making comparisons with Villa and Newcastle. Like you said, Villa are pulling players off the bench like Leon Bailey. Newcastle are pulling Jamal Lascelles off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could argue Callum Wilson, but again, he's getting on a little bit now. But
Yeah, and again, like I mean, of course, his career has been injury plagued, and now where he's getting to that age where he's starting to slow down, and I think injuries will be a lot less avoidable for him.
Yeah. So yeah, look, there's definitely, I think, definitely some work to be done for Newcastle, and obviously they're struggling with some of the financial restraints of not being able to offload certain players and that, so that they've got maybe a lot of money but can't spend it. But no, there's some interesting stuff. I think Everton are in their new ground as well. I think that.
Is it now open?
I think it's this season. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's just because that's what they were talking about last year. Not going down and then having the problem of playing in that stadium and in the championship. So I think pretty sure that was their last game at Goodison, because I think there was a big thing on it that was the last game at Goodison. So they'll be in their new digs, which will be interesting, because Goodison was always. I love watching matches at Goodison. Real hostile atmosphere. The crowd was proper old style ground. The crowd was up on top here, so hopefully they don't lose that. In the same way that Arsenal and Spurs have kind of lost it. I mean, White Hart Lane was that. I loved White Hart Lane. Been there loads of times. Obviously, my dad and my brother have been big time. Fantastic ground. And again, really atmospheric. They've leveled up in terms of obviously what the stadium looks like, and obviously more fans in, but they've just lost a little bit. Same way that Arsenal lost it when they lost Highbury. Yeah. And it seems to be a running theme that when you step away and go to this new ground, you struggle to bring, that level of passion and energy. You see it with West Ham as well. Obviously they're going to the Millennium Stadium and leaving behind Upton Park or the Bowling Ground, whatever you want to fucking say.
They called it the Bowling Ground on the final fucking day they played there. It was like, I never knew that. But yeah, no, ever since they went to the London Stadium, again, like, it's just like, I don't know if it's because and again, might be clutching at straws there, where you're so far from the field, you become there's a sense of detachment there. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I mean, it probably would be more relevant with West Ham, but I mean, with Tottenham and Arsenal, for example, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I've been to the Emirates before, and it's a beautiful stadium, but like you said, it's really hard to replicate that, that hostile atmosphere that was once there at Highbury, like, it's just like, I don't know, it just sort of sucks the heritage out of the club's history.
So hopefully that won't happen. But yeah, there's some interesting stories there, but looking forward to it. Next couple of weeks and have a good buzz.
Absolutely buzzing. And I've just seen here like one last piece of transfer news before we wrap up this evening. Julian Alvarez from Man City to Atletico Madrid is moving in the right direction after positive talks between the clubs. Now, I feel this is a move that Julian Alvarez has to make. I think for his own best interests, because it feels like Pep is. I mean, of course, Haaland's had his injury problems over the last season or two, and so from that sense, he gets himself into the fold. But if you look at the overall picture, like, he's always going to be second choice behind Haaland, and if he's second choice behind Haaland, Pep feels like he could try and mould him into like a number 10 or like a false 9. That, like, again, it's like that awkward Kai Havertz role that he's trying to embed him into.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? But to be fair, he's won everything, I would imagine. I'm pretty sure domestically he's won everything. Champions League he's won, so maybe he does want to be the guy somewhere and have a fresh start. But I mean, a hell of a player they're losing. In terms of a backup player to Haaland, that's not going to be easy to go out and say, right, let's go out and buy someone of his level that can deputise when the main guy's not there. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he feels it's the right time to step away.
And
been
he's
successful at City.
certainly good enough to be that guy as well.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
we've seen
100%.
how special of a player he is, and again, still at the age of 23, still has a lot left in his career, and can certainly go on and win further honours elsewhere. And again, being that main guy to lead the line, that unfortunately wasn't going to be the case when it came at Man City when Haaland came in, and I'm sure Pep had, assured him of that as well, saying that look, you're a special player, but you're not going to be that guy that's going to get us 40, 50 goals like Haaland is. You ain't going to get those sort of numbers. I mean, maybe with the service, I'm not too sure.
I always have a hot take on Haaland. I don't think he's as good as people make out whenever I watch him, and
I
three
think
or
he's
four.
starting to get worked out now. I think they're starting to work him out big time.
He tends to need like 3 or 4 chances. He isn't cutthroat, clinical.
And that as
But
well,
look, he's a very good player. But I think Alvarez is very good as well. Different types of players. But yeah, I'm sure he'll go to La Liga and do really, really well.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, that's us for episode 1. The mood is high. The buzz is there. And I'm hoping that we'll be feeling the same way when it comes to next Monday, mate. But it could drastically change, and I could be sitting here thinking, we're going down to League One, I hate football. You know what I mean? But Mayhem, Season 4, we're off to a strong start. And here we go again for the 4th season in a row. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, mate. Pleasure as always.
Hey, mate, pleasure. Glad to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, you can check us out on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Apple and Audible. If you'd like to come over to YouTube and see our live recording, see our beautiful faces, I mean, how can you not come over to YouTube and see this shagger right here with me, one of the best co-hosts you could ever ask for. Follow us over on the Football Booth on YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and drop that bell for notifications. And until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and the star.